We've explored life in many different countries so far. Some of these places may have caught your attention, while others perhaps didn't leave a strong impression. This naturally raises an interesting question. Which capital city do you believe offers the highest quality of life in the world? And what key qualities should a nation's capital truly possess to be considered livable? With that in mind, let's turn our attention to Moscow, the capital of the world's largest country by land area, and take a wider look at Russia itself. Spanning roughly 17 million square kilometers, Russia is vast beyond comparison. Moscow, often described as the political, cultural, and economic core of the nation, sits slightly east of Belarus and just north of Ukraine. Unlike the extreme northern regions shaped by Siberia's severe climate, Moscow is located in a comparatively moderate zone along Russia's western side, where conditions are generally milder and more suitable for dense urban life. Moscow experiences milder winter weather compared to the bone-chilling temperatures of -50 degrees Celsius found in northern Russia, with average temperatures around -20 degrees Celsius. However, the cold still feels quite severe during this season. Looking at the map, we see that Moscow is not exceptionally large, covering a total land area of only 2,511 kilometers. As Russia's most populous city, it is home to approximately 19 million people. In contrast, the nearest city, St. Petersburg, has a population of about 6 million residents. It is quite remarkable that Moscow has served as the capital of Russia for over 850 years. To accommodate its dense population within a relatively small area, the city features many high-rise skyscrapers. In this vital city, you can find hundreds of tall buildings. The rental prices for an average apartment in Moscow, which are somewhat better than typical standards, start at 80,000 rubles. The dollar equivalent of these three-bedroom apartments, which have a minimum cost of 80,000 rubles, is at least $800. If you're considering living in Russia, especially in Moscow, a city that hosts billionaires from around the world, you should expect the cost of living to be around a minimum of $2,000 per month. While it is possible to find apartments for 50,000 rubles, these units are generally at least 20 years old, located far from the city center, or very small. Interestingly, almost half of the world's capital cities have a coastline, but Moscow is not near any sea. Instead, the city is centered around the Moscow River, which serves as a peaceful recreational area for its residents throughout the year, both in winter and summer. The river that flows through the heart of the city is crossed by several small bridges, providing essential connections for the residents. The presence of these rivers indicates that the city is situated on a vast plain. The renowned Moscow Kremlin Palace is located at the center of the city and stands as one of Russia's most significant symbols. Almost every visitor to Russia has their photo taken in front of the Moscow Kremlin Palace, which currently serves as the official residence of President Putin. As the hub of high courts and the center of the country's administration, the city is also home to wealthy oligarchs. Consequently, luxury official vehicles with sirens often create traffic jams. It's worth noting that there are many palaces in Russia that bear the name Kremlin. Additionally, the famous Red Square, commonly referred to as such in English, is located in the capital. The square features cobblestone roads, all impeccably clean and free of litter. Red Square is the most popular area for tourists visiting Moscow, Russia. The architecture in this iconic part of the city is impressive and draws many visitors. The square is so vast that during important events, such as speeches by President Putin or national celebrations, it can fill to the brim with millions of people. Another significant symbol of Moscow, St. Basil's Cathedral, stands proudly in Red Square and is one of its most famous landmarks. Currently, there isn't a large influx of international tourists to the square. This decline is largely due to Russia's strained diplomatic relations with the West, resulting in many Western airlines reducing or halting their flights to Russia. However, Russia's large domestic population and abundant resources prevent the country from being overly dependent on the outside world. Consequently, the capital is never empty or quiet at any time of the year. One of the best indicators of this vibrancy is the multitude of festivals held in Moscow. If you're fortunate, you might encounter these colorful celebrations during your visit. While they may be common for locals, they are sure to be intriguing for visitors from abroad. Today, much of the world is still enjoying the summer months. And in Moscow, people are seen strolling around in short sleeves. If I were to give you a glimpse of the vibrant life there, these metro stations, a legacy of the Soviet era, are truly among Russia's finest attributes. To appreciate this for yourself, you can observe just how elegant and clean each metro station in Moscow is. Throughout the country, Russia's metro system boasts over 160 stations across 11 lines. One notable aspect of Moscow is the abundance of luxury cars. You'll particularly notice these dazzling vehicles in the evening hours. No matter where you look, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Mercedes, and various other high-end cars seem to appear everywhere. There is a street in the city called Malaya Bronaya, which is home to Moscow's elite. This area is known for its wealth and luxury, making it a popular spot for affluent residents. On streets like Malaya Bronaya and Petrovka, you can find the most expensive branded shopping centers alongside the finest vehicles. In the evenings, the streets become alive with traffic and crowds. Moreover, Moscow's cosmopolitan and multicultural nature makes it easier for visitors. Even if you're not fluent in Russian, you can often communicate effectively in English. The city's diverse makeup also means a rich variety of culinary options to satisfy different tastes. Additionally, Moscow's bustling streets are popular spots for newlyweds celebrating their weddings. Many couples choose the city's elite neighborhoods for their festivities. If you see several pairs of brides and grooms with hundreds of guests gathered along the Moscow River, it's not uncommon. Unlike extravagant celebrations, weddings in Moscow tend to be simpler, characterized by intimate gatherings of close family and friends. Despite the political challenges in Russia, Moscow maintains a vibrant and secure atmosphere. The city continues to be one of the world's most desirable and intriguing capitals. The residents of Moscow appear content living in their country, showing no signs of fear or restriction. You've probably heard of cities that stand out alongside the capital city of a country. For example, in Italy, Naples is well known in addition to Rome. In England, Manchester is a notable city alongside London. Spain has both Madrid and Barcelona. And in Russia, St. Petersburg shines as another major city besides Moscow. St. Petersburg is located in the northwest of Russia and covers an area of 1,439 square kilometers with a population of approximately 6 million people. This makes it the fourth most populous city in Europe, while Moscow, the capital of Russia, ranks second with about 12 million residents. The most populous city in Europe is Istanbul, which has over 18 million inhabitants. St. Petersburg is sometimes preferred over Moscow by many Russians, largely because of its geographical advantages. It is the closest major Russian city to Europe, situated just south of Finland, and only a 2-hour drive from Baltic countries like Estonia. As a result, residents of St. Petersburg equipped with the proper documents can easily travel to European countries within 1 to 2 hours, allowing them to enjoy an active lifestyle that bridges both Russia and Europe. Another advantage St. Petersburg has over Moscow is its excellent access to the sea. While Moscow is traversed only by rivers, the western edge of St. Petersburg opens up to the Gulf of Finland. Beyond the Gulf lies the Baltic Sea, providing the city with valuable maritime access. Of course, the presence of the sea is one of the most significant factors that contribute to a city's popularity. Having access to the sea increases the number of activities available. For example, while residents of St. Petersburg can enjoy swimming at local beaches, people in Moscow do not have that option. In St. Petersburg, families can take leisurely walks on the beaches, particularly after the evening rush hour. Residents enjoy the refreshing sea air, which helps relieve stress along the city's shores. If only the summers in St. Petersburg were longer, it could become one of the premier vacation spots in Russia and the world. Unfortunately, summer is brief, and the weather cools down quickly. Additionally, St. Petersburg is not only bordered by the sea, but also features the Neva River. This river flows from Lake Loga to the east, dividing the city into 3 branches before it empties into the Gulf of Finland. As a result, the western part of St. Petersburg consists of several islands. Each of these islands has its own unique name, one of which is New Holland. Similar to New York, these islands are connected by bridges, creating a cohesive city. In total, there are 42 islands and islets in the city. In addition to the islands, St. Petersburg is often referred to as Russia's Venice, due to its 55 canals and nearly 500 bridges. Along these canals, you will find many grand houses built in a yachting style. These houses often serve as residences for the country's wealthy elite or are converted into investment hotels. One of the most captivating aspects of St. Petersburg is its experience of white nights. This isn't about the vibrant nightlife found in places like Thailand, where the evening seems endless. Instead, the white nights are a natural phenomenon occurring in areas near the polar circles. During the summer months, the sun doesn't fully set, resulting in nights where daylight can last for over 19 hours. The sun rises around 300 a.m. and sets around 11 p.m. So, if you observe the city at midnight, you'll notice that the sky remains bright. St. Petersburg, being the city closest to the Arctic Circle, experiences this phenomenon more intensely than other locations like Sweden or Norway. The Russian people celebrate this period, which lasts from May to July, with numerous events and festivals transforming the city into a hub of entertainment. Music, dance, light shows, and various visual spectacles make St. Petersburg one of the world's premier destinations during this time. It's safe to say that the city remains lively throughout the summer. However, for those who struggle to sleep in the light or dislike noise, spending time in St. Petersburg during the summer months can be challenging. The beauty of this phenomenon has been marketed so well that before the war, millions of visitors from around the world would come to St. Petersburg each year to experience the white nights and to see the stars in the glow of the night. In fact, we're only just beginning to realize how special St. Petersburg truly is. This city had immense potential, even during the era of Imperial Russia, serving as the capital for a remarkable 200 years. Founded by Tsar Peter the Great in the early 1700s, the city was originally just a swamp. Inspired by his travels across Europe, particularly by Venice, Tsar Peter envisioned St. Petersburg as Russia's equivalent to that iconic city, complete with canals. He regarded it as Russia's gateway to Europe and invested heavily in its development. Notably, the city's first university was established in 1724, and today more than 40 universities offer education and research opportunities in St. Petersburg. Even now, the city continues to attract students from across Russia and is home to some of the country's leading engineering and technical universities, rivaling those in Moscow. The most renowned and oldest institution in the city is St. Petersburg State University. Additionally, if you have an interest in World War II history, you might be familiar with the name Leningrad. the city that endured several sieges during that tumultuous period. Leningrad, which endured immense tragedies during World War II, resisted sieges for 900 days without surrendering. That very Leningrad is none other than St. Petersburg. Petersburg, my friends. In 1924, it was renamed Leningrad in honor of Lenin shortly after his death. The city kept the name Leningrad throughout the Soviet era and was only renamed back to St. Petersburg. Petersburg in 1991, after the dissolution of the Soviet Union during Boris Yeltsin's government. This city is not just an ordinary one for Russia. It is well known throughout the world. St. Petersburg has been remarkably preserved throughout history, encapsulating many aspects of Russia from both the imperial era and the Soviet period. The most significant evidence of this heritage is the magnificent buildings that adorn the city, showcasing its unique architecture. I bet when you visit St. Petersburg, you'll never want to put down your phone or camera. With every step you take, you'll encounter architectural marvels more beautiful than the last, inspiring you to take pictures or pose in front of them. The incredible architecture in the city often features shades of white and brown, lining the main streets from end to end. St. Petersburg is not only competitive with Moscow, it actually surpasses many capitals in Europe.